Ну що там за звуки? Давай. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you a few tips about how to find an apartment in Lisbon. Because recently the situation on the market is not favorable for those who want to find an apartment for rent. And if you will watch this video till the end, I'm going to tell you one very important tip that might help you find your apartment sooner. My situation is the following. I have moved to Lisbon from Shanghai about a month ago. I have shipped most of my things that I thought I will need from Shanghai to Lisbon about 3 weeks before my flight, so it's still on the way, which helped me to be more light while settling in Portugal. And I want to mention that I moved with 2 cats and I have arranged an apartment. It's actually a house not in Lisbon but in Portugal. It was a temporary arrangement for just 1 month until I find my long-term apartment in Lisbon. So if you are going to be moving from another country, I recommend to arrange your shipping so it arrives at least a few months after you are in the country, so it gives you more flexibility and you will feel more light while settling in. So the situation on the market, on the real estate market in Portugal right now is pretty heated up, and I'm afraid that I have bad news for people who are only now coming to Lisbon, because you might need some help finding an apartment, and that's why I made this video, because I actually had to go through a few complications while getting my home situation sorted out. First, what you will need is to know where to look for an apartment, and there are a few sources that you can look at. First one is idealista.pt. Second one is remax.pt. These were the websites that I used, and there are also groups on Facebook, and I have seen a lot of I have seen a lot of posts where people say, hey, my name is this and I'm doing this in Portugal and I'm looking for an apartment. And I can say that there are so many interested people for a rented apartment today that I don't think that it makes sense for you to waste your time writing those posts. I don't think they will get you what you want if you're looking for a separate apartment. If you're looking for a room, that could be a different story. There are people posting that they're renting out their rooms, and then there are students that are looking for separate rooms to rent. So that in that case, Facebook could be helpful for you. The influx of foreigners in Portugal is pretty high, and there are about from 100 to 200 people interested for one apartment. So you can imagine how is the situation for landlords, and that is why you need to be in a favorable position to be chosen by a landlord, because yes, in Europe you are not choosing the apartment in some ways, the landlords are choosing their tenants, and that is why you need to know the tricks that can help you have your offer accepted. The first tip is that you can start searching for an apartment while still being abroad, but you won't be able to physically see it or meet your landlord, and there are so many people interested that it is most likely that landlords will go for people who are ready to go, ready to move in and have all the paperwork on hand and ready. So here are a few things that you will need, the list of documents that you will need to prepare before you will be ready to send your offer to your potential landlord. Of course, landlords are also looking at people who are more solvent and able to pay the rent, and that can guarantee them that the situation with the money will not become a problem and you will be able to continue paying your rent during your contract. Contracts in Portugal start from 1 year onwards. Some landlords want you to stay from 2, 3 to 5 years. Everybody mentions that after 1 year by law, you are allowed to leave the apartment without losing your deposit. But you never know what people you will end up working with in this situation. So I think the recommended time to rent the apartment, the term, would be from 1 year to 2 years. Because it gives you more flexibility in case you don't like the district or something just doesn't go your way and you want to move out. You will feel more secure. As soon as you arrive, try to get all your paperwork sorted out, so when you're ready to send your offer to your landlord, you have a whole file ready to email. And the documents that you will need to arrange, that majority of landlords are going to look at, will be the following. Document number 1 is your NIF, which is basically a tax number. You can receive it still being abroad. You can hire an agent. I did this earlier in probably February this year, and it costed me €200, which is pretty pricey, but I didn't have to worry about anything. I just sent my passport and the rest was done by the agent. There's a fly here and it's again killing me. So if you are a foreigner in Portugal but you are an EU citizen, you can have someone represent you, a Portuguese citizen, that can help you to get your NIF within 10 minutes. All you will need is your registration outside of Portugal and your passport and the person who will represent you. The interesting point with NIF is that you do need your NIF to receive a contract for an apartment so you can register there. And at the same time, for NIF, you need your registration in Portugal or outside. It sounds like a vicious circle in terms of Portugal, so I recommend you to use whatever other address you have where you're registered and you're paying your taxes, and this will help you to get your NIF faster. The next document that you will need is your employment contract and last 3 months pay slips that you've been receiving from your employer. This helps landlords to receive a guarantee that you will be able to pay your rent during the time of your stay according to your lease. Unfortunately, I have bad news for people who do not have a work contract, because at this point the situation on the market is so unfavorable that landlords just don't want to bother with people who don't have a proof of work. So in my case, I was kind of lucky because my husband had a remote job and he has a contract, so we were able to present that document. By the way, there is a video about why I have moved from Shanghai to Lisbon, and I'm going to leave the link to that video if you're interested to check out the reason why I'm here. I also have a vlog about how I have been searching for an apartment. It has 3 parts because it took me longer than I expected, and if you're interested to see my struggles live in real time, how I was struggling just a few weeks ago, you're welcome to watch those videos as well. The third document that you will need is going to be your passport, and the fourth one is going to be your social security number that you need to receive in Portugal. Me, as a Ukrainian, I am under the temporary protection in Portugal, so I asked for this status. I'm not a refugee, it's just a temporary protection, but this allows me to stay in Portugal on a citizen terms, which gives me all the necessary documentation that I could provide to my potential landlords. Usually it takes time to receive this number or document of your registration. You can ask your landlord to wait for it, and there is a chance that they will wait, but if you can prepare it beforehand, sooner, it will be better for you. The last most important document is the guarantor. Guarantor is the person who lives in Portugal, who is a Portuguese citizen, who is paying taxes and who is working here, who can basically guarantee that if you will have problems financially, they will be covering your expenses for your living for you, which for me, as a person coming from another country and different mentality, sounds strange, because I don't think this is fair that some other adult which is not even my relative, has to be responsible for me, another adult, and my financial situation. But that is something that people are looking for here, and if you have a guarantor in Portugal, this will definitely help you to get your apartment faster and secure that you will get the apartment that you actually liked. You can avoid having a guarantor if you are able to pay more months of deposit upfront. But let's be realistic. The rent these days, the prices for apartments are starting from 8,000 euro per month and going up to 2,000, 2,500 euro per month within the city of Lisbon. And you know, I honestly looked slightly outside of the city and the prices didn't differ much. So you can count how much you will need to pay up front. Now, when you will start looking for your apartment, you will probably face a situation when the apartment viewings that were scheduled can be rescheduled or cancelled just like a night before your day of viewing. So what I recommend, especially if you don't live in the city right now, is to arrange your viewings in one day, at least a few apartments. I would say 5 is doable. I did 5 in one day. It was tiring, but it was doable. And then if you will have some cancellations within that schedule, you just take your time and rest and have some coffee in a coffee shop. You should remember that most apartments in Lisbon are rented out without any furnishing. If you see on the listing of your apartment the furnished photographs, make sure to read the description carefully, because I had the situation where the photos were of a furnished apartment. I arrived to view it and it was pretty far away and it was absolutely empty, and this was not the thing I was interested in, because I honestly personally don't want to bother with furnishing an apartment and then whenever I want to move to have to deal with trucks and moving services. So this is my recommendation. The prices of furnished and unfurnished apartments don't differ much. I would say in some cases they don't differ at all. So if you have a chance to avoid dealing with buying a new furniture or second-hand furniture and bringing it yourself in the empty apartment, if you can avoid that, I recommend to avoid that. Now, one more interesting thing is that I recommend for you to, as soon as you see the apartments that you like, let's say you saw 5 in a day, you liked 4, and you liked 1 the most, send your offer immediately on email to all of the apartments, to all 4 apartments, because the situation is the following. You can waste time waiting for a reply. Landlords here tend to not send you any message at all, which will be a silent no, or they will send you their refusal in a few days, saying that they decided to go with other tenants, which can steal your time if you will be waiting for a reply. That is why you just continue sending your yes to all the apartments that you like, and later you might not get lucky to receive acceptance from landlord that from all the apartments that you sent and said you wanted. You might receive only 1. So just be smart here and grab the apartment as any apartment that you see that you like, and just wait and continue your search. Don't stop until you will receive a final yes from a particular landlord after you have sent them all your paperwork. Your offer for the landlord will just be your email with your information, with your documents, and that you are agreeing on the payment terms. This is basically how things are done, and after that you can wait. But as I said, just continue your search and don't stop until you are definitely invited to sign the contract. We're getting closer to an end of this video, and if you stayed here with me till the end, that is where I am going to give you my last and I think one of the really important tips how to get your apartment sooner and get more chances to receive an acceptance of your offer. And this tricky tip is prepare your tenant CV. Yes, you heard me right. It is not an employment interview, and yet you should prepare your CV. It helped me a lot. This is how it looked like, and all the information that I put there was just my age, few photographs, what I do, what I'm planning to do in Lisbon, that I have a cat, that I'm ready to move in, just basic information which helps the landlord to recognize you among others, to get a good feel about you, because in the end of the day, it is all a human situation. It's going to be just a face-to-face, personal liking or disliking. So just remember that if the landlord has a good feeling about you, they will most likely go to sign their contract, the lease contract with you. And they will probably close their eyes if you don't have some paperwork ready yet, or maybe you don't have some of the paperwork, because in the end of the day, this paperwork is not the ground base. There are some landlords that just have a good feeling about you and they will say, sure, let's sign the contract, they will invite you, and then you will be all set with your lease. You will find your home. At the end of the day, it is not a mathematics, it's just a simple boom on the market, and that is why it's harder for you right now. I hope my tips were helpful for you. I hope you will get your apartment as soon as possible. I welcome you to contact me if you need any other help. You can contact me in Instagram. I will leave my information in the description below as well. And I wish you luck, guys. Thanks for watching, and I see you guys next time.